All right, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to review this Champion open frame inverter generator. It's the 8750. I bought this for backup power for the house. I've had it about a month or so. Walmart, Amazon had these for around $650 or so. So I decided to go ahead and get one. It came straight from Champion, which was nice. Packing was good, no damage, and shipping, all that's great. I put the 10W30 conventional oil as recommended in it. I put all just 100% gasoline. No, it was no ethanol. It says you could use up to 10%. I'm not a big fan of ethanol, and especially in small gas or things that's going to not be used all the time. Some people don't have that locally. I do, luckily, so that it works out great. So I put that in. Of course, it has stabilizer in it. Went to start it, no start. Tried it again, no start. So then I was like, well, let me just let it sit for a little bit. Let's see what it does. So I came back out, probably 10 minutes later. It started for just a second and died. So I was a little concerned, hey, this is probably a fuel issue. Sure enough, I started investigating, and I did have a fuel problem. So right here is the on and off valve right here. So you turn that. Well, of course, that wasn't a problem. I had already turned it on, but there's this, that's the hose that comes off the valve and goes to the carburetor. Well, whoever assembled this one, you could see this cable right here. It's this cable. This hose was on the other side of the cable. And so it put a kink in that hose, and which allowed it, well, it stopped all fuel, or allowed just a little bit of fuel to go by. So it would start if it sat for a long time, but it would not start or run because of that. So I just, with a pair of pliers, took the clamp off, rerouted the fuel line, it started right up and ran. So now I have 11 hours on it. After I got it running, the recommendation from the manual, I believe, was to run 5 hours, no more than 50% loaded, and varying your load. So basically, I just ran it at my house, put, small amounts of load on it, large amounts of load, never reached even the 50% probably, but tried to just keep the what was plugged in and running on it, just changing over every, 20 minutes or so. After 5 hours, that's what they call the break-in period, I changed the oil. I used a 5W30 synthetic this time. The one I used is this Pennzoil Platinum 5W30. I actually prefer Mobile Extended Performance 5W30. I just didn't have any. I already had this, so why not use it? It's also great. Both of these are great oils. I would use, either one of these. They're a little more expensive, but who wants to have their generator break down in, in the middle of the night when you need it to work? So I run one of those. So at 5 hours, I changed it to this 5W30. We had a power outage a couple weeks ago. Some storms moved through. We were out of power for about 6 hours. The generator did great. So now I have about 11 hours on the generator. I went ahead and changed the oil one more time. Again, went back with the Pennzoil oil because that's what I had. And some things I would do differently. First, the fuel was not a problem. I knew how to fix it. That would be kind of annoying. If you don't know how to fix something, that would probably be a problem. I wouldn't follow necessarily the recommendation of changing the oil, the first oil change at 5 hours. If I had it to do over again, I would probably do it at 2.5 hours, and then also at 5 hours. These small gas engines do not have any type of filter. So there's always those real fine flakes that make the oil kind of shimmer. I would like to get those out. So if I had to do over again, I'd probably run, say, Valvoline. There's an oil, they make an oil called VR1. They make a conventional 10W30. I'll put in the links or in the description a link to it. I would probably run that. You could probably get, I think this holds like 1.1 quarts, so you could order 3 quarts. It's not super expensive. You know, I would run the first oil change for probably 2.5 hours, drain it, put the conventional oil back in it, run it for another 2.5 hours. Then you could use, you know, whatever, if you want to continue conventional oil in it, you can. I still, like I said, I got 11 hours on it, and there was still a little bit of shimmer in it. So I'm going to continue changing it probably after every major use. So every 5 or 6 hours. I think the recommended, you know, changes at 100 hours next. Again, it's probably overkill, but when, you know, you're buying the 5 quarts for, you know, $25, $30, $40, well, neither one of these are 40, but I think 35 is maybe the most expensive. And that'll do, you know, probably four oil changes. So that's relatively cheap. So I'm gonna change it again if we have a major outage. Hopefully we don't. The only modifications I did to it so far is I put this little trickle charger. You can see it plugged into the battery, just so that my batteries, I'll just plug it in when not in use. That way it's always charged. Then I did remove this panel. They have instruction. Champion has an instructional video on how to convert this. These are neutral bonded, neutral ground bonded. What that means is the neutral and ground's bonded together. You definitely want that if you're using this, you know, out on a job site, or, you know, with tools plugged in. But if you're hooking up to your house, sometimes you're gonna, depending on what type of transfer switch, you're gonna want neutral bonded or not. In my scenario, I do not want it bonded. They make a great video on how to convert it. I'll try to find that video and also put it in the description. So overall, again, 11 hours, time will tell. I will make another video if anything major changes. Hopefully I don't have to use it again for a while, but if I do, you know, hopefully it runs like the last 6 hours, which kept our well on, our lights on, worked pretty well for us. So that's the overall review so far. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, please like the video, and then check back and I'll update if anything changes.